Okay, we have here today another limit example, and we have this problem here that looks quite a bit different than some of the previous examples because we don't have a polynomial or a rational expression with polynomials. So before we get to this actual problem, let's look at something a little simpler. If we look at x as it's approaching minus infinity of just say e to the x, and if you just plug minus infinity in here, that's going to be the same thing as like 1 over e to the x as x is going to infinity. So with the large denominator, this is actually going to be going to 0. And the other thing I want to look at, really similar, is let's look at x approaching minus infinity of e to the minus x. Well, now when we plug minus infinity, the minus and the minus cancels. Now we just have e to the infinity. Well, the limit of this is just going to infinity. So how does this help us with our actual problem? Well, there's not too much difference between e to the x and e to the 5x or to the e to the 8x. It doesn't really matter. So these terms are going to be just going to 0 here. So that'll give us some simplification. And similarly, e to the minus x is going to be really similar to like e to the minus 5x, e to the minus 2x, e to the minus 3x, but again, we just have a multiplier on it. So all these terms are going to infinity. So it's clear at this point that our numerator is going to be going to infinity and our denominator is going to be going to infinity, but this is going to be an indeterminate form, so we're going to have to do some more work on this. So even though we don't have polynomials in the numerator and denominator, we can still do something very similar and factor out the highest power in the denominator. And in this case, it's going to be this e to the minus 5x. So when I factor this, first I'll factor out an e to the minus 5x. That's going to give me minus 2 plus 3 e to the 3x here in the denominator. And then the numerator, I'm just going to factor out the same thing. I'm going to factor out e to the minus 5x, and that's going to leave me here with 5e to the 2x. And then our e to the minus 5x terms are going to cancel. And then similar to what happened here, our e to the 2x is going to 0 because of what we found on the last board. And the same thing with e to the 3x, that's going to 0. So what we're going to end up with here, in our numerator, we're going to have just 0 here. Because this is going to cancel the 1, and we have this, because this is going to cancel the 1, 0 times 1. This will give me 0 in the numerator. Here, because this cancels out, all we have is minus 2. But 0 over minus 2, that's just going to give me my solution of just 0. Okay, good problem. We'll stop it there. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day.